at the top of the pyramid, you'll notice here that I've got product written rather than service. And you might be sitting there going, oh no, I'm a service business, Sarah. Well, I want you to completely change that. And we're never going to look at it again as you're a service business, because if you're a service business, you're trading your time for money. And we want to move away from that, because we can never scale that up to a point that, you know, is really profitable and you're getting exactly what you want out of the business. So we're going to turn those services into products or packages. So what does that all mean? All right. So you might have already done this exercise, which is in my new biz toolkit. I've also shared the product matrix in the file section if you want to grab them out if you haven't got a copy. We're not going to go through this full exercise today, but I just wanted to put it in here so you can do it in your own time and keep working through this after the session. But what this is about building your business around you rather than you working in the business and the business running you. So what we want to know first of all is, what is the outcome that you deliver to your customer? So what businesses did we have here? Wedding planning and hire. All right, so Carly, let's use you as an example for this. So wedding planning business. Very cool, by the way. Could have used that. People don't employ you because they want wedding planning done. That's just what you do. The outcome they want from that is to have a stress-free experience planning their wedding so they can have a beautiful day that they enjoy with their friends and family, and, you know, just remember these moments for a lifetime, and just everything works seamlessly and it takes the stress and the overwhelm out of the process. That's the outcome that they're after, yeah? So then when we go through that, we go, all right, well, if that's the outcome, let's think about what's important to you for the business. You go, all right, how many hours do you want to work? Maybe you go, I want to work 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, whatever that might be. What level of flexibility do you need with those hours? So you might go, all right, well, I want to work, you know, I've got a few kids, so I want to work 9 to 3 so I can do the school drop-offs. Or I want to work, take 3 months off a year because I want to go traveling 3 months a year. So that's what level of flexibility. Or I want every Friday off. Whatever it is, write that down. What income do you want to earn? What do you need that's going to make you happy and give you the lifestyle that you want? And what do you need to earn for your business? What's that number for you? Where do you want to work from? You know, for me, I never want to work in an office ever again. Like, I love working from home. It just gives me so much freedom, flexibility. So I will never do that. So for me, it's home. I've got other friends that are mums who their time to escape is going into the office, because it's when they don't have the kids and they can feel like themselves again. So they want to work in the office. Or, you know, maybe you're a tradie or whatever it might be, and you love going to a different site each day and different house. So every day your work day looks different. All right, whatever works for you, you write them down. And then you'd go through and you'd complete this exercise. But what I want you to start thinking about is, there's so many different ways that you can deliver the outcome that we were talking about earlier to your customer. So you can do it one-on-one if you're a surface-based business. You know, you are doing consultations or whatever it might be. You can do it in group settings. So you can get 10 people together and, you know, workshop sort of style. When I think of group sessions, the thing I sort of think of is like puppy preschool, where you're doing those sorts of sessions. You can do it in a program. So you can have a program that's set up that you send people and they purchase, and it walks them through the steps and it's all done. You could do a subscription. Maybe they're getting a subscription of product or services or something every month. So normally this is something that's pre-prepared, so you're not actually doing anything for it. It's just stuff that's sent out every month or quarter or whatever it might be. Could do a course, something like what I offer, like the Launch Your Biz Now course. People come through and they go through that transformation of setting up the business. Could do a masterclass like today on whatever chosen field or whatever outcome, and you could spend an hour or two either doing it for free or charging or whatever works for you, sharing some of that knowledge. You could do a membership. So membership, I think, is like the program, but it also has a community aspect behind it. So it's a little bit more hands-on. They're just a few different ideas that you might think about for giving the outcome that you give to your clients. So how does that actually look? So this is a case study that I've put together, and this is for a landscaper. So the problem this landscaper had was they were trading their time for money, and they were spending so much time quoting. So they were working, you know, doing the landscaping during the week, and they were spending maybe a day a week doing quoting and spending after work time quoting and all this sort of stuff. So their work-life balance was just hell, and they weren't getting the results from their business. They were burnt out. They weren't enjoying it, and, you know, just weren't loving life. So what we did, we put together a garden design guide, because one of the things they found when they were going out to quote is people either, one, didn't know what they want, or they, two, had no idea how much it would cost and had unrealistic expectations about that, or a bit of a disjointed. So, and anyone that doesn't know, landscaper is different to a landscape designer. So you have two people. So, you normally need to know what you want to have by the time the landscaper comes out. So yeah, we had a garden design guide, and this is just a PDF, and it walks through how to design, and it doesn't have to be the most beautiful space, but how to come up with a rough landscape design. And then once you've got that rough landscape design, we send them to Pinterest, and they put together a Pinterest board which shows the style of garden that they're thinking. So when the landscaper gets there, he can go, oh yeah, okay, I see the design, I see the style, I can bring that in now. It's a lot more than getting there and going, I don't know, what do you reckon we should do with this space? And the landscaper's sitting there going, I don't know, what do you want to do? So, and then the other thing we put into there, which was powerful, and some people are a bit scared of doing this, is we put in prices. So we packaged up their services. So rather than charging per hour, we packaged it up into square meter rates for them. So it'd be square meter rate for retaining wall, square meter rate for concreting, square meter rate for paving, or whatever that might be. So we had those rates in there, so people could really easily start getting an idea for themselves of how much this landscaping was going to cost, and see if they were qualified enough to do it, like qualified as if they're self-qualifying themselves for the service. So what this meant for the landscaper is they didn't actually go out and do quotes for people until they completed that garden design guide. So when they were actually going out and doing the quotes, people already knew what they wanted. They had a rough idea of what it was going to cost, and the landscape was there just doing the final sort of stuff. They also now knew, trusted the brand, because they deliver this content and worked through this exercise. So their conversion rates from doing their quotes went up exponentially. They pretty much were converting every quote that they went to. So that's huge. Well, what that also meant is the landscaper now isn't spending his weekends or after work quoting, and he can do all of that a lot more efficiently, giving him that work-life balance. The other thing that shifted is, instead of charging per hour, they package together their services. And the win about this is it's better for the client, better for them, because the client knew what outcome they were getting. They were getting a retaining wall that was this square meters big, or whatever it was. And the landscaper had a set rate they were charging. So if the landscaper did it faster, they might have had problems before where the client might go, all right, well, you quoted 12 hours, you did it in 10 hours, so I'm only paying 10 hours. Whereas now the landscaper, because they're doing it more efficiently, because they're experienced and all that sort of stuff, they're getting the benefit of that. So they're making more money. So that's one thing. Then they also added on a subscription service. So they knew that they were giving this offering, and then they go back to jobs and people didn't know how to maintain their plants, or what to do, when to trim, all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't so much a lawn service, it was more plants and just, sealing the pavers and all those sorts of things. So they had a monthly or seasonal option. So now they've built in recurring revenue to their business. So they've put their per customer price up exponentially. So it's completely changed the business, and the growth that they've had is fantastic. So that's one example from going from charging per hour to building out your product ecosystem. Next example is a physiotherapist. So this physio specializes in runners. What they found, and they were doing just the usual one-on-one sessions, is they were having all of their time caught up in doing one-on-one sessions where people maybe weren't getting the outcome they needed because they probably didn't need one-on-one sessions, or they weren't getting the value out of it because they just had a little injury that might have needed a bit of rest and need to be shown a few exercises, or whatever that might be. So what they did was put together a low ticket item, which was a pre-recorded video series, which had, covered off common injuries for runners and common treatments for those injuries. So people could come in for a consultation, and if they didn't need the full physio package, they could buy this, and then they've got everything they need to fix their problem. They're getting a lot more value out of that. They're still getting the outcome, but they're getting a lot more value, and it's freeing up that physio's time to spend doing the things that they really want to do, where they're giving people that transformation from their one-on-one work. They also put together a monthly runner group. So this made them a key person of influence in the industry, because they organized this group where all these runners are getting together. They're building up their leads from all this community. They're creating business ambassadors, and people now looking at them as that key person going, oh yeah, that's the person you go to when you're doing a running. They put together an online 12-week coaching package, which walked you through how to prepare and train for a marathon. It included online support, coaching, and running analysis. And then they also still had their one-on-one physio package or physio services. But now instead of doing it the hourly session or in the one-off sessions where you just pay as you come, they've packaged that up. So they know that they either have usually strain injuries or bone stress injuries. So they had 2 packages now that they've set for that. People pay upfront for it, so they get that money into the business faster, which helps with the cash flow. But it also guarantees that person's going to come back and finish that treatment plan. So guarantees, well, they've got a whole lot more likelihood of getting that transformation and that positive outcome, so they do become champions of the brands. So that's a few examples there.